Good evening from San Luis Obispo, California, back on California's Central Coast. We are in downtown SLO, right next to the Mission here, Mission San Luis Obispo. There is a protest march heading in the direction of Highway 101 up ahead. Highway 101 looks blocked off. The Mission is right here. There are bicycle officers waving, bicycle officers trailing the protest, as now the marchers turn right on Palm Street, circling around Mission San Luis Obispo. Straight up ahead is Highway 101. You might be able to see it is blocked off by law enforcement. Sorry about the shaky camera. That is also, that street right in front of Highway 101 is Walnut, which the police station is located on. We just turned onto Palm and are winding our way around the Mission and around downtown San Luis Obispo. Just getting started this evening. There have been ongoing protests here in San Luis Obispo since I was last here. I'm already forgetting what date that is. Hey, Magic Monkey. Someone also in the 805. Hello to everyone who's tuning in. Taking a look quickly at the comments. I'll be giving you an update during the broadcast on what's been happening here in San Luis Obispo, California with regard to the protest movement here. But for the time being, protesters are turning right off of Palm onto Choro, still circling around the Mission, now heading south on Choro. You can see we've got protesters in vests directing traffic, and we also have bicycle officers and at least one police vehicle trailing. And Annabelle's here as well. I guess she might pop on right now.
How are you doing?
Magic Monkey waves and says hi.
So the girls asked me to be on the line.
Yeah, they've been telling me that as well. I don't care. Here's a look at some of the window fronts on what street are we on? Choro, I believe. Bicycle officers probably be trailing this march throughout. And let's see if the protesters now congregate outside a restaurant that has very much been in the news here lately with regard to what's been happening at the protest. So we now have a gathering right next to the San Luis Obispo Mission, which you can see here. Another bicycle officer riding around the Mission lot. Here's the Mission, and here are the protesters taking over the intersection of Monterey and Choro and sitting down in silence. Looks like the crowd is in the hundreds, maybe a couple hundred, maybe a few hundred. This is a restaurant I was referring to. It's called Giuseppe's, and I will be discussing it during the broadcast. Now back to the action. Let's get closer to the man speaking.
Y'all hear me? I'm so excited. I hope you're enjoying your dinner. So, my name is Anthony. Before I speak, I want y'all to do one thing for me. Pull up your phone. Now, we all know you got that little video feature. So pull it out. It's okay. Now, I only got 5 to 6 minutes, so hurry it up. All right. Y'all ready? Y'all good? Y'all filming? How I look? I look good? That's not right. So, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100. I'll give you 3 tries. Sister down here in the middle. 20, no. 32, no. 65, oh, but no.
Dimwit Dirt, you're close to that guy's guess.
82 is the number.
Officers gathered here at the mission.
Since Breonna Taylor's murder at the hands of the Louisville police. This is why we march. We see our brothers and sisters get murdered all over social media, and nothing comes of it. This is why we protest. And today, we are also protesting for the San Luis Obispo to drop the charges against Tiana Arada.
Tiana Arada is a protest leader who was arrested following a protest a few weeks back.
Permanent record should not be tarnished because she's standing up for what's right. She's out here, hold on. She's out here doing the hard work. She is the inspiration for all of us.
Hey Costello, thank you for tuning in.
When it happened that Tuesday, after that beautiful, peaceful protest, is that they tried to silence us by taking out one of our leaders.
No, she's not in custody anymore.
Black leaders. Let me give you a brief rundown. Tiana has 5 charges against her right now. Participation in a riot, conspiracy, unlawful
Hey Tim, thanks for joining.
unlawful imprisonment, and resisting arrest. When in fact, there were 6 of them. Count them, 6 of them. Count them, 6 of them. 6 of them. 6 of them. 6 big white officers pulling along the sister while she was yelling, "I am not resisting." How is somebody resisting when you have 6, count them, 6, count them, 6, 6, count them,
Thank
6,
you,
count them,
Obispo.
6 officers holding you. Now T isn't much taller than I am. She's a little, she's got a little more muscle on her than I do. That does not require 6 whole officers. They took her in because, quote, she, unquote, led us onto the freeway. They say that they wanted to hold off so as to not start a scene, because when you arrest a leader in front of a bunch of protesters, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a scene. They wanted to avoid that. That's what they say, right? That's what they say. When in fact, the entire time, from the beginning of the protest, in the rally, in the park, till about 8 o'clock at night, afterwards.
Thank you, Kelly girl.
When it was dark, when there were no protesters left to defend us, they decided to charge us. Officers this way, officers that way, SUV here, there, everywhere. Does that make sense to y'all?
No!
Right. Exactly. So what we're here to do, from here on out, is make as much noise for Tiana as humanly possible. You understand me?
Okay, let's try to set the scene a little. Everyone's standing up now. They're chanting, "Hey you, stand down, drop the charges right now." Hey Andy, thank you for tuning in. And we do have officers standing and on bicycles nearby. Now, as the protesters march in the direction of Higuera Street and right in the middle of downtown, let me quickly bring you over to this restaurant here. As you can see, because of coronavirus measures in California, we have people eating outside. So this restaurant right here is Giuseppe's. Back during the 2016, was it 2016 or 2018? I believe 2018 election campaign, Giuseppe's, which is an Italian restaurant right here, gave a donation to San Luis Obispo County Sheriff Ian Parkinson. And the protesters do not like Ian Parkinson. He is a politically conservative sheriff. And last week, the protesters came right here, lined up on this sidewalk right in front of me, going about 2 blocks down, and they chanted, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, Ian Parkinson has got to go," and lots of other chants, and were very loud right in front of Giuseppe's here. They're angry at Giuseppe's over Giuseppe's previous support of Sheriff Ian Parkinson, as well as because of Ian Parkinson's recent comments that have been critical of Black Lives Matter. So when they chose that location just there, I didn't hear him saying anything about Giuseppe's, but the protesters have been protesting outside of Giuseppe's restaurant as people dine on the street right there. And there are also lots of allegations floating around town right now of harassment of downtown businesses here in San Luis Obispo, including on this street, Higuera. This street, Higuera, is basically the main block here in the main street here in downtown San Luis Obispo. And there are, as now there are bicycle officers surrounding me. There are lots of complaints coming from business owners right now about harassment coming from protesters and even allegations of attempts at extortion. And I'll try to get into that later on in the broadcast, but for now, let's just follow along with this protest march as they continue to scream, "Drop the charges right now." Again, those are the charges they're referring to are charges against protest leader, or one of the protest leaders, Tiana Arata, who was arrested on, I think it was 5 different charges that they listed off earlier, including incitement of a riot, conspiracy, and something like holding someone hostage. And it relates to the protesters going onto Highway 101 and there being a car's window smashed and glass hitting a 4-year-old child inside. And after that protest, Tiana Arata was arrested, and another protester was arrested who got in a physical altercation with an officer during Arata's arrest. We're now heading on Marsh Street. The crowd is definitely in the hundreds. About how many people would you say there are?
200?
Annabelle says 200.
Maybe more.
I think they're more. I think they're more than 200.
Maybe 500?
Don't know exactly, but today's a sizable protest here in small town San Luis Obispo, although they've had larger. And I was here and streamed a protest that I think had an estimated 3,000 people at it. Any impressions of San Luis Obispo?
So there were already 2 from those girls with the pink vests coming up to me, asking me why I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah, I told
Also,
you.
why I'm
They're
running
not
on the wrong line on the street.
They're not gonna like you not wearing a mask, but
I mean, they are running here, marching, so I have to breathe when I do physical activities.
it's not so easy to breathe with this thing on as you're running around. Now, as we've been heading east on Marsh, the crowd is coming up on a construction site, so I think they're gonna turn. They're turning left onto Osos and heading back in the direction of Higuera, as well as the heart of downtown. We'll see where they make a stop. Maybe they make a stop at the courthouse. We'll see. Someone's saying you rock your gas mask.
Rock and gas mask?
No, someone's saying you rock your gas mask.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a look at the crowd as it turns off of Marsh onto Osos, with women in pink vests directing them. No, I did not get a new. Well, I think I've mentioned before, I'm using an old beaten up phone. So this is the same phone that I've been using. I do have a better one, but I'm continuing to use this old one. The crowd is still not finished turning onto Osos, but I'm gonna try to catch up with the front of the crowd, as it sounds like they might take over the intersection of Higuera and Osos. Someone is back on the bullhorn. Yeah, I hear someone saying take it over, and it looks like this intersection here in the heart of downtown San Luis Obispo, Higuera and Osos, now is under the control of the protesters. Magic Monkey, I don't see any buses. So I see a motorcycle officer one block ahead. This is a one-way street, by the way. I see a motorcycle officer one block ahead blocking off the street. So I wouldn't expect any cars to be coming barreling through here unless one of these vehicles parked outside this restaurant were to head this way. You can see protesters gathered right beside where people are dining. This is a well-known pizza parlor here in Slow, and this is a well-known barbecue place across the street. And let's take a listen in. Oh, I'm allowed to be here.
But for my sister, my best friend,
I need you to sit
Tiana Arada.
No, it's a public place. I'm allowed to.
Tiana Arada, who was the voice for all the San Luis Obispo County where we needed a leader. I have known Tiana for 4 years now.
Kevin, this is a public place. I'm allowed to film here.
Today, we are here to fight for
Okay, but
Tiana's justice.
I'm here
Bring
reporting
more
on this.
awareness to her situation.
Keep going. Why are you recording? Have you got this?
I want to make
Kevin,
it clear
I'm allowed to
that
report
Tiana
here.
was
This is a public
incredibly
place.
misrepresented by the media. I met Tiana when she first got out of Grizzly Youth Academy. During our friendship, I experienced her loyalty when my family was going through a transition. Tiana actually put her actions where her mouth was. Her family made sure that our family did not need for anything while we were in that transition. Tiana has always been a person who cares about others. Tiana hates seeing when people are treated with injustice. One thing that I want to make clear about my friend is because
Mr.
of all
Boston,
of this
LOL.
misrepresentation, it makes her look as if she is just going crazy. In participating mayhem going on in the world today. When Tiana and I first started these protests, our objective was to bring attention and to speak about against a broken system. Peacefully, not to glorify violence. This is what deceits me. It's how the media can take an image and use your own words to distort the impression of one character and what they are representing. And then, when people believe everything instead of truly doing their own research and learning. So if they're sitting at home watching TV or on social media before you can pick up and run with the information that they're distributing, I would highly advise you to do your own research. Remember, there are always two sides to the story. Tiana is a local activist and a 20-year-old black woman that is facing 3 misdemeanors and 2 felony charges. Tiana's story will not be another story buried under the ground. Tiana is a confident black woman, and she is always willing to stand up for what is right.
If you're not wearing a
And
mask,
what
this is a peaceful protest. Blocking people, they can't
Tiana
hear.
believes in taking a stance against the unfair treatment of the black community and people. Tiana's journey led her to stand up for the injustice that we see in the world today. We will continue to fight for Tiana until we are sure that justice will be served. Thank you for all coming out and supporting us. This fight will be a long, and without your support, we will not be able to win. Thank you.
Romy. Annabelle, the blonde one at the back is filming us. I mean, they're all going to film us, but I don't really care.
Flyers? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ruthie has some flyers and QR codes. I think we have some banners over there who might be willing to sign the next petition for Tiana and then take some action. So we're going to get some flyers.
Speak louder. Speak louder. Speak way louder.
Let's hand these out. Let's get these bystanders. They look supportive. And we just scan this QR code. Get some action for Tiana.
Kevin,
I get this,
Kevin.
but all I'm asking you is to sit down so you're not paying attention on yourself.
Kevin, I'm pretty
Everybody repeat after me. Drop Tiana's charges. 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 Drop Tiana's charges.
Drop Tiana's charges!
Drop Tiana's charges.
Drop Tiana's charges! 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 Drop Tiana's charges!
All right, the crowd now moves down Higuera Street. You can see officers on bikes still trailing them. It's not Kevin, it's Kevin. And I interviewed him at length in the last stream here in San Luis Obispo. They continue to chant, "Drop Tiana's charges." Again, a few weeks back, Tiana Arata led a protest in San Luis Obispo that went onto Highway 101. There was an incident, multiple incidents involving vehicles, but at one point, their vehicle windows smashed, glass hit a 4-year-old. You can see enhanced security presence outside the Apple store. A look at security measures from one business here, the Apple store in downtown SLO. So Tiana Arata was arrested after that protest. Thank you, Simon. Protesters in vests continue to direct traffic here. Likewise, police. There's another motorcycle cop straight ahead. So, and there's a motorcycle cop over here. So, both working together, protesters and police have the city streets here blocked off. Hey Tom Jode. Dobro utro.
Jump the charges right now. Hey, you. Stand down. Jump the charges right now. Hey, you. Stand down. Jump the charges right now. Hey, you.
Here you can see support from one local business, someone working at a business here. Another man just sitting and filming the show as it walks by, or as they march by. All this outdoor seating here is because of COVID measures in California. Okay, you know what? Now that I'm listening closer, they're not saying stand down. They're saying, hey you, Dan Dow, drop the charges right now. Dan Dow is the San Luis Obispo County District Attorney, and the protesters have been very upset with him, just like Ian Parkinson, and just like Parkinson, the sheriff. Dow is quite conservative. And I can now hear that the protesters are saying, hey you Dan Dow, drop the charges right now. And as far as I'm aware, the DA's office hasn't filed charges yet in this case. I'm seeing. Wow, so this, for the first time, I see we've got two people in medics outfits. This is starting to look a little more like a big city protest rather than a small town protest. We have at least two people here in medics outfits. People with dinner or drinks or both here on Higuera Street in downtown SLO. But yeah, the protesters apparently have medics today, which is something I'm used to seeing in Portland, not something I'm used to seeing in SLO. Oh, likewise, we got a drum.
But just give us a little bit of space. I know you have the right to do whatever you want, but just respect us a little, you know?
I have the right to film
I
it.
know you do, but just like
Drop the charges
respect
for Tiana Rada.
Would you like to say why
Drop the charges for Tiana
would you like to say why the DA should drop the charges?
Drop the charges for Tiana.
All right, now protesters take a seat in the middle of Higuera Street in downtown SLO.
How y'all feeling out there? First, I want to say thank you to the coordinators for letting me talk in this position. For y'all that don't know, I work there, and there, and down the street. And I'm honored to be able to just speak to all y'all. So many beautiful faces out here. We're here for the right purposes, the right cause, correct?
This is Kevin on the mic right now. Kevin, the DJ, and an informal protest organizer, I would say. And he's talking more about Tiana.
She's arrested. We've been talking about this since the beginning of this, correct? But I want you guys to understand something.
I don't know, I'm walking over here.
I've ever met in my life. Okay?
Excuse me. I'm sorry about that.
I want y'all to know something. These people right here, along with Tiana, started this movement. It happened on a Thursday night.
Can't see who they're motioning to. I guess the people standing are the ones being applauded for starting the movement. You have SLO PD officers in back of the protesters here on Higuera Street.
That's right. Let's go. Listen, I'm sorry if I'm in anybody's ear. It's just this thing is loud. So listen. I had the unfortunate moment to confront these kids. And I confronted them in a way that wasn't belittling, but it wasn't appropriate. And I personally apologized to them. And what y'all don't know, what you guys need to understand, is I'm one of the oldest people out here. Okay? I'm not gonna lie, I'll let you know, I'm 49. That's right, I'm 49. This is more of a call to leadership for everybody. Listen, we all know what happened. We all know it's a bunch of baloney. They tried to make her a what? What did they try to do her, y'all? Does anybody what? An example? Right. Well, I see examples right here. I see examples everywhere. They called her a terrorist. They called me a terrorist. They called Mark a terrorist. I believe they called everybody over here a terrorist at one point or another. So that makes you all terrorists. Y'all good with that? But we're here for the right reasons. The main reason is we need to make sure that we do the following. We flood the DA's email, voicemail, and anything possible with him telling him that he's going to free her, that he's going to drop these charges. They're bogus, and we all know it. For real. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, this is everybody that's eating dinner, drinking, having a good time. You need to understand, when you have youth that come up and step to the plate and hit it out the damn park, and you guys don't know who they are and you don't want to support them, well, guess what? Now's your time to understand and support them. Our good friend, a person that started this movement in this little bitty city that I've lived in for more than 30 years, created the movement. Look how many people are right here, everybody. Now, I'm not originally from here. I used to live in the Bay Area. The Black Panthers headquarters is literally across the street, and that is not why I'm wearing this shirt. I just like it. And I've met Huey Newton personally as a little child. But I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't got nothing on Tiana. Y'all feel me? Nothing on her. So, with honor and respect, I need everybody to say with me, drop all charges. 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 Drop all everybody stand up. Drop all charges. Stand up. Drop all charges. 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 Drop all.
The crowd's now turning on the broad streets, turning off of Higuera, where you can see there are a lot of people dining out on the street, including over there on that block. I don't know how well you guys could see, but there are people dining right beside where the protesters were just stopped. You can see more restaurant seating out here on what street? We're on Broad, because people aren't allowed to eat indoors now. And it's dinner time here. Crowd now circling around the downtown core. Oh, what was that? Maybe there was a motorcycle starting up, I'm not sure. Hey, what's up, Agent Orange? Thank you for tuning in. She's filming Annabelle now. Lots of people. I mean, it's comical how many people here are filming me. Some filming Annabelle as well. Oh, excuse me, ma'am? One of them just screamed at me, "You gotta go." Weaving through downtown, now turning off of Marsh onto Choro. Heading right back for Higuera Street, that main street in downtown Slow, where the protest was just stopped.
These racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go.
You can see the bicycle officers continuing to trail the protest, as well as it looks like a police truck and a city truck as well. More people dining right along the protest route. is really downtown dining hour here in San Luis Obispo. Hey, nomadic viewer, thank you for tuning in. There's more of a glimpse at a, wow, I mean, so this lady's waving. Either her or her friend screamed at me something like, "You get out of here." And that's finally the end of the march and the beginning of the bike patrol. Taking a quick look at the chat as I catch up with the protesters. Oh, Tim, thank you very much. That's news to me that the woke channel is interested in Little San Luis Obispo, California. But they're actually hearing a little bit of it, as today there are protesters demanding that charges be dropped against a protest leader, Tiana Arata, who was arrested here. So when the protest was stopped and there was a group in the middle and Kevin on the microphone giving speeches, they were stopped right around here. And you can see there's outdoor dining here as well as across the street. Just setting the scene a little more. For those just tuning in right now, we are in San Luis Obispo, California. San Luis Obispo is along the central coast of California. It's about halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. Something going up on a business right here. Let's see what's going up on this business. So, looks like a George Floyd poster with other names on it, just put up on this business. Or, I mean, I guess it's an empty, the building's empty at the moment, I guess. Actually, you can see that same lady running around with more of these. Get some shots, like after she posts them or during, get some shots of it. Oh, she's handing a letter now to the Flower House Pizza and Pasta. Flower House Pizza Bar and Pastaria. That lady's handing that, I guess that same flower, probably requesting that they post it in the window, but I'm not sure. There's some chatter right now between the officers and diners on the street. I didn't catch what was being said. I'm gonna catch up with the marchers. There was one very minor incident of looting in this town back when the protests started, and there hasn't been a repeat of that. And I believe it was some teenagers around the age of 14 or 15 who were arrested for the little looting that took place downtown here. But there was a protest leader arrested here, another person arrested while that protest leader is being arrested, and the California Highway Patrol are seeking at least one more suspect. Maybe they've caught him, maybe they haven't, I don't know, with regard to that incident involving vehicles on the freeway and windows being smashed. That sign says, "Their blood is on your hands."
Take it to the streets to find the police, no justice, no peace. Take it to the streets to find the police, no justice, no peace.
The protest is now making its way back toward where it started, which was a park straight ahead just outside of the downtown core. They started marching shortly before I began this broadcast. I didn't catch what happened at the park, but I saw they gathered at the park before the march began. Police continue to trail that city truck. I think it's a public works truck, also continuing to trail the marchers. Andy, I've been to a protest in Compton recently. There have been multiple protests outside the Compton Sheriff's substation in the aftermath of the killing of Andres Guardado. Someone's got a sign, "Where's the vaccine for racism?"
Hey, can I see about what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
My,
Can I talk to you without being filmed?
no, because I'm in the middle of a live stream. I can't shut this off.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to walk with me, you can.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a protest going on. Lots of Black Lives Matter protests in town. I don't know if
What's your
you're-
name? My name's Kurt. What's yours?
Are you aware of the protest, or what would you like to know? My name's Josh Friedman. I'm live on YouTube.
Hi, Josh.
You can find me live on YouTube. All right. I don't know if he's trying to figure out what's going on, or just trying to probe me a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know. Yeah, so now the protesters are returning to Emerson Park. I believe it's called Emerson Park. Here, just outside the downtown core.
And I can give you a red one.
Looks like some local homeless gathered here as well. And as I duck from under this tree, we are now...
Vote?
I'm sorry?
Are you registered to vote?
No, I'm not registered to
Do you
vote.
want to register to vote?
No, thank you.
Okay.
We are in the middle of what I think is Emerson Park. Oh, there's some chalking on the basketball court. That looks like a BLM style fist, I think. Is that? Oh yeah, that is. So right in the middle of the basketball court here, we've got this fist. And then along the side of the court in chalk it says Black Lives Matter. And here's a look at the crowd. Again, I'd estimate in the hundreds, maybe a few hundred. And it looks like there are going to be more speeches. So let's get close. The guy said the city of San Luis Obispo does not have rhythm. Sounds like we might have some singing or dancing coming up.
There's two components. So if you have a higher pitched voice, you're going to be saying BLM. Wait, you don't have to. I guess let me do the deeper voice. We'll put it together. But the deeper voices, what you're going to say is, ooh, ah, justice for T, 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 ah, justice for T, ooh, ah, justice for T, ah, justice for T, ooh, ah, justice for T, ah, justice for T, ooh, 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 ah, justice for T, ah, justice for T, ooh, 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 ah, justice for T. Thank you.
What's that?
It's great being the chief, man.
Are you the chief?
Chief of the Blackbird family tribe, son of the Crow. I am the Raven looking for my son. Bring your home. You don't want me.
And then following that, we have Cam. My boy Cam, where you at? And following Cam, we have Ryan. And then after the first person goes, Michael, we will have anybody who wants to say something about what they saw today or how they're feeling about the matter. It's up to you guys. If anybody wants to say anything, they can. Don't forget to go over to the buggy wheel over there and register to vote. Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? You guys doing okay? Alright, thank you guys for marching with us all the way down to the park. That was beautiful. You guys did great. I just wanted to kind of close off the protest with a couple of words. And first of all, I want to say thank you for all of you guys for gathering here with me in support of Black Lives Matter and also support of getting Tiana's charges dropped. Like that's very special to me. And I just want to say that Tiana is seen as a leader in the eyes of all of us here today. I assume that she basically brought all of us together, if I'm not wrong. Tiana is the reason why we're here. She brought out the encouraging us to come out here and protest what we believe in. So I want to say thank you for her for that. And the way she's seen, she's not a hero in our life, she's also seen as an enemy in both of you guys. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to silence the whole Black Lives Matter movement and slow. And they try to do that by taking Tiana from us. And I just want to touch on how traumatizing it was to see Tiana being pushed to being manhandled by 6 full-grown white men into a cop car. I have had close ones to me. I've seen people get arrested. I've seen people be lay down on the floor. So I was very traumatized. And I hope Tiana realizes how grateful
Andy, we've been talking about that throughout the broadcast.
For her starting this, and how appreciative I am to her for starting this change. I think it's very important to have these kinds of conversations as well. Because like I said, flows in their own bubble. Just because it doesn't happen here doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So I want to say thank you to her for bringing awareness to what happened.
I'll fill you in again at the end.
And to the people who were there to see Tiana be traumatized, I want to sympathize with you. I want to know that we are here for you and support you emotionally, because it's not easy. It's not easy being someone you love, someone you respect, your friend, being basically ambushed, being attacked, and being forced in handcuffs, being dragged to the floor. It's like, that's just not easy. And so when I saw that, I was walking to my car, and I saw it, and my first reaction was to freeze. Then I thought about what happened. My freeze turned into a walk, my walk turned into a jog, my jog turned into a run, and my run turned into a sprint. I thought to myself, I have to protect her. I have to protect my sister from these people, from these bad people. I have to do something. And of course, I fought. I screamed, I've been pushed out of cops, I was everything. And then when I see Tiana be put into the car and drove away, I said to myself, like, what next? What is the next step? Because Tiana was the start of all of us. And that's when I realized I'm the next step. You guys are the next step. Our brothers and sisters are the next step. It is not Tiana's responsibility to carry the Black Lives Matter movement as well. I just want to say thank you guys again, and to keep on coming out and to keep on supporting. And we will get the charges on Tiana dropped. You're going to get it in peace or you're going to get it in pieces. One way it's going to happen. And I just want to talk off the protest, and I'm very thankful for all of you showing out, and thank you guys for using your energy, your spirit, and everything, and it really means a lot that we're riding for Tiana, because I see Tiana through y'all. So I don't see Tiana. Oh, I'm
Thank you all for coming out. I just wanted to say, on Joe's point, I think it's just a beautiful thing. Kind of like we've all kind of rallied around Tiana's arrest, and I think that it is a traumatic thing, and it is an example of what really can happen anywhere you are, no matter if you do it. And I think that this beautiful community behind me right now has been kind of strengthened for others, and I think that you guys also are part of this community as well. So I think that's just the most beautiful thing that we can have. I'm gonna read some words that my roommate wrote. He can't be here today, but he would like to speak on them. So, you guys know Alex Sarah. This is woo! All right. So to everybody here today, I want you to ask yourself why you decided to come. Look within yourself and really ask yourself what reason made you come out to this protest. Whatever that reason may be, I truly hope it goes beyond giving yourself a pat on the back or giving yourself a good news today. Being here for the lives that have lost you to do with bloodshed, even the lives that have been oppressed, not necessarily killed, because that's just as bad. Be here for George Floyd, be here for Breonna Taylor, be here for Tiana. She is a living proof that Black Lives Matter is more than a movement, it is a way of life for some people. I would love to have the privilege to learn about racism through a protest or through reading a book, instead of putting up with bullshit as far back as I can remember. It comes with upsides because it has allowed me to live life with my open eyes since I was 12 years old. Now this has happened, and now all of your eyes are open. The information is all out there, and you guys have all learned this information. Now what are you guys going to do with it? Don't let it go to waste. Learn from our history. See our former and current leaders as brothers and sisters to learn from, instead of idolize. When you idolize a person, you tend to ignore mistakes, which leads us to inevitably repeat them in the future. See what leaders such as MLK, John Lewis, and Huey Newton have done good in their life and learn from them. And also learn from their mistakes, because everyone makes mistakes. Bring your ass out on voting day. Refuse to be complacent. This fight isn't going to end this year, but goddamn, we have the opportunity to move this fight in the right direction, and it all starts from making our decisions this year. This sets the tone for the rest of the foreseeable future. Refuse to be keep fighting for the removal of qualified immunity. Refuse to be complacent. Fight to abolish slavery in prisons. Refuse to be complacent. Keep goals in mind and refuse to be complacent. And do good for the community. Don't be loud just to be loud. Keep goals in mind while you are being loud. Having a mentality of always having to accomplish a goal is how we can accomplish change through this movement. Because to me, it is more than just a movement. I'm going to be fighting beyond today's protest, beyond this year. I wake up and it is a way of life for me, and it will be for the rest of my life. And that's how I think it is for many others like me. And for all of us, we should be all our life mission to make the world a better place. Because why wouldn't we want to make the world a better place? Let's keep going strong. That's it.
Hello, beautiful people of San Luis Obispo. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me in the back? Yeah! I said, can y'all hear me in the back? First off, I want to start off by, we brought it today. I freaking killed my drum. I ripped it open. I broke it. So everyone So, my name is Michael Giuffre, and I want to just say that I have so much love and appreciation for each and every single one of you for fighting for something you believe in. As I mentioned last time I spoke, this fight for systemic racism, racial justice, and anti-blackness is like a race. This race is not a short sprint, but it's rather a marathon that is going to go on for hundreds,
Thank you, Charlotte.
thousands, and even millions of miles. Are y'all ready for that marathon? The beautiful people that have been leading us throughout this marathon for the last 2 months and many more years, probably the last 10 years, fighting their whole life, are people such as Tiana, Melissa, Calvin, Marcus, Josephine, Ayana, Alman, Rose, and so many more that I haven't mentioned. Can we give them a round of applause? I also want to give a shout out to Luca, Timi, and the LGBTQ+ slow community for throwing and leading an amazing protest last Friday. Can we give a round of applause for them? Also, I want to thank my boys, Chiname, Keith, Alex, and Cam for stepping up and leading this amazing protest. Can we give a round of applause for them? So it is necessary that we all step up for Tiana. As I said last time I spoke, if the police want to arrest Tiana for what happened during Tuesday's protest, then they should also arrest me for inciting a riot. They should arrest me for unlawful assembly. They should arrest me for conspiracy. And last but not least, they should arrest me for unlawful imprisonment. Because I am just as guilty as Tiana, and so are so many people here. All of us. The reason, in my opinion, the police targeted Tiana is because she's a strong black leader whom the police fear. The reason, to me, Tiana is the most fearless woman I have ever met. And the police thought by arresting Tiana that they were going to be cutting off the head of the snake and nipping the case. That's the farthest thing from the case. Little do the police realize is that it's like this movement is like Medusa's head, and we're all the heads to the snake. And that each and every single one of us matters just as much as the rest. So we all have our different strengths, whether it is creating and signing petitions, whether it is creating and sending emails, whether it is leading chants, whether it's posting on social media, whether it's donating to Tiana's GoFundMe, is that we all have our own different strengths. So I want to say is that we are one message, we are one family, and we are one love. So, I humbly ask you, as I've done in the previous times I've talked, to join me in a moment of reflection, 3 minutes and 33 seconds, to think about how the police kidnapped and unlawfully arrested our sister Gianna, and I want you to sit with that and to make me think how it makes you feel. And then going on top of that, while you're sitting there with that feeling, I want you to think of a way in which you can productively respond and contribute to the Black Lives Matter movement here and stuff. So, if y'all will, you can stand. I'm actually going to stand for this one. That's it. So, just, I need to get it. Just relax. Kind of loosen up your neck. Sit down if you want. I'll be leading us through this moment of reflection. So when everybody is situated, I would like everybody to basically think of Tiana, whether it is from afar, and you see her speaking, whether you see her running while we're protesting, whether you see her running up and give you a hug. Don't force it, but let this memory of Tiana surface to your head. And when you find this memory, when you find this moment of Tiana, I want you to think about how it makes you feel. Tiana's presence is such a warm, compassionate aroma in which she makes me feel like I'm not. In which she makes me feel like I'm not. In which she makes me feel like I'm not. So think about it. Think about the way that Tiana has made you feel over these last couple months. Whether she's giving you strength, whether she's giving you purpose, whether she's giving you love. Now, I'd like you to think about how our sister Tiana is currently facing 5 charges and 2 felonies. I want you to think of you being in her footsteps right now, you being in her place right now, and having 5 charges on you for being the most fearless, compassionate woman in the world. Just because you can, just because you have heart. So think about that. Think about how that makes you feel. That the police went out and targeted you. This is a fearless, strong, black woman. I want you to stay with that for a second. I want you to think of ways in which you can fight for yourself. Ways in which you can fight for the Black Lives Matter. Sit there and for the rest of the time, I would like you to be thinking of productive ways in which you can add to the Black Lives Matter movement here in Florida. Whether it is signing a petition, whether it is creating a flyer, whether it is emailing a feeling back, whatever it is, think of the strength that you have and what you want to give to the future.
Look at how beautiful each and every single one of you are. Think about what we're telling you. So, I want to make you all join me in so much protection. Like I said, I truly do love and appreciate each and every single one of you. And thanks for joining us in this fight against systemic racism, racial injustice, and anti-black.
Make sure too, if you're gonna come up, make sure you keep it clean. That's all.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. Hi, all. It's so great to see you coming out again and again and again and bringing new people. How awesome is that? Continue to bring new people. Oh my God. I'm sorry my voice is gone and I'm nervous as heck, and I'll try to keep this short. I just want to remind you all, don't let the protest end when we're no longer in the street. The protest continues when we're talking to our family and friends, the people who are uncomfortable with this topic, the people who don't like the topic, the people who don't want to talk at all. But I want to remind you why it's so important to keep talking to those people, particularly the people you love who aren't sharing that love right now, who aren't coming out, who aren't supporting. There's a reason that's important. I'm an example of why it's important. I grew up in this town. I grew up a conservative Christian. I can guarantee you I would not have been out here had I not made some big changes in my life. And I know I am not the only one. And it is only because people who I love and who loved me, who had patience with me and continue that conversation every time I said something stupid. And I said a lot of stupid things, I can guarantee you. But only the people who continue to love me, who continue to talk to me and did not give up on me, those are the people who helped me realize that I needed to make changes. That I needed to show my love to everybody. That I needed to support people who weren't getting support. That happens out of the safety of this crowd. This happens when you're at home. This happens with your friends, your family, your guys, just strangers. It's having those conversations. I want to encourage you to keep doing it because it makes a difference. It's why I'm here. It's why some of you are here. It's scary, but I want you to do it, and I believe in you because it works. It works. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'm so excited to see the new people here. Keep bringing new people. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Usually I fly under the radar, but not today. I have some information to share with you guys. So there was an incident that happened in my hometown back in June. I'm from Lancaster, California. You guys don't know where that is. It's right next door to Palmville, right next door where Robert Fuller got hung. There was an incident in my hometown that a 62-year-old black man was shot in his house, in an argument with his wife. He came in, and sort of like the Breonna Taylor incident, the same thing happened in my home. I saw the family there. The family didn't have any information in the beginning, but we came in and we stormed the station. So we were able to at least get the names and the cases. We tried to close the case. I need everyone's help here to just at least say the name. If you have social media, if you have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, however you can do it. His name is Michael Thomas, and the information needs to get out there. We stormed the station, we had 30 people, but I don't feel like that's enough to pose a threat. So once again, his name is Michael Thomas. You can type that in to share however you want to send it to me. But the family needs stuff. That's exactly Lancaster, California.
time for one more person. Anybody else has to say one thing?
Drawback.
Hi everybody, my name is Patrick. Nice to see everybody out here. I'm fairly new to joining the movement myself. So I'm gonna focus on the same time because this is relevant. I'm here. One of the most difficult things that humans can do is self-reflecting.
One of the most difficult things humans can do is self-reflection.
And I'll have people come in here, they come in for therapy, and I'll have to spend the entire hour reminding them to self-reflect. That's because it's so difficult, and that's why all those people who have racist ideas that don't want to confront us like this have such a visceral reaction to what we're saying. That doesn't make it any less important for us to say. If anybody has never had to deal with a toxic person in their life, you know what happens when you try to call them out on their behavior, right? They'll put the blame on you. They'll try and say, well, what about all these good things that I've done? Doesn't matter. Yeah, great, you've done good things. But we really need to talk about these bad things. And so that's why. That just makes it so much more important that we're doing this as much as we can. Being out here, sending emails, sharing things on social media, talking to all those toxic family members, those toxic people in your life, and making sure that they understand why this is so important, why this matters, why Black Lives Matter.
I've been making some noise on social media because I figure, why the hell not? I'm a white woman and I'm not on my watch list right now, so yeah, very nice to meet you. So I have committed to being out here every single day somewhere in Snow County, protesting until all parties against Donald You're more than welcome to join me. My handle is pretty easy to remember. Dark Chicken Nugget. Alright, so I want to say a couple things. I've spent the past week going to different businesses, and yeah, a lot of them were putting stuff in their window, but there were so many who weren't. So I'm going to post on the protest page, I'm going to post on my Instagram, but we need to stop shopping at businesses who don't support Black Lives Matter. It's not going to tackle them. Just chill. Don't go to those places. I'll put a list out, but we do not need to support them. We need to shut them down. There's absolutely no reason for it. So I just want to say that. That's really important. And also this list everywhere.
Okay, so this is kind of spontaneous, but we have a perfect example right here of misinformation, disinformation, just painting the wrong picture of us. So someone found today on the CHP San Luis Obispo Facebook page, they made a post saying that the on-ramps and off-ramps on the 101 are closed. Okay, they're notifying everyone, right? But you know what picture they used with it? They used the picture from us on the freeway last week. So what is everyone on Facebook going to think when they see this thing? They're going to be like, oh, they're on the freeway again. These ridiculous, whatever, all that. So what we're about to do right now is we're about to stop that. So if you have an iPhone, please pull it out, turn on your AirDrop to accept it from any iPhone. And I'm sharing you this Facebook link.
If you have an Android,
if you have an Android, sorry. Yeah, if you have an Android, it's the Facebook page is CHP space San Luis Obispo. Are people starting to get the link? Yes? Are y'all getting it? Okay, perfect. I'm just hitting everybody here. So, what I need y'all to do, I didn't say what to do. If you took any pictures today, or video, today was a completely peaceful protest. You know, nothing, we did not do anything wrong. We were exercising our rights. So you can go ahead and just drop a picture in the comments. There's already, you know, the moms and dads of Facebook blowing up the comments, but I need y'all to blow it up and just be like, hey, CHP San Luis Obispo, y'all used the wrong picture. That was last week. This was actually us today. Say something to that extent. I'm still hitting all these phones that are popping up on my AirDrop. And if you're getting it on your iPhone, because my phone is not reaching it to the others, just AirDrop it to another person. Alright, did they post it on Instagram too? Okay, well, we're going to have to comment on their Instagram. We can't put a picture on there. But yeah, I just wanted to say that so that we can squash that kind of misinformation. Yeah, so I don't really need to say much else about that. That post speaks for itself, so yeah. Yeah. I don't care. They know who I am. Yeah, those who like spoke at the stops, like and gave speeches, they wanted to speak today, so.
They already know who we are.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, beautiful. Hey, please post that. Yeah, they have a picture of them blocking the freeway today with no one there, so they're gonna post that in the comments. So if you see that, like that.
Could they airdrop that photo?
Yeah. Can you airdrop that photo?
Text it.
I'm messing.
Right for life, baby!
Last thing here. We're gonna have someone speak about an upcoming protest because yeah, like we said, this doesn't stop. So we have a very productive and exciting event coming up this Sunday. So I'll let y'all know about it.
Can everybody hear me okay? Yes? Okay. So my name is Samantha. I'm 16 years old. I'm now a senior in high school. So I am still young, and I think it's very important that the youth in our community are educated about this. It's very important. Because I know there are old people that say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, actually, I do. Okay? So I thought it would be really good to have a large protest weekend for our youth in the community. So, with a bunch of amazing organizers who also helped me, there will be an event on August 9th, this Sunday at 3 o'clock at Mitchell Park. So, yeah, I hope that everybody is inclusive. We have from preschool all the way to parents, grandparents. So please, everybody come. I think it's great for everybody to be educated. We will have a small march somewhat around downtown and do a loop around Mitchell Park. We also have flyers here if somebody wants to come get them. There's a QR code with more information, more resources. So yeah, please come out. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
What kind of messaging are you giving to parents? Because I've been having a hard time getting other parents to come with their kids to the event. Like, I'm kind of the only one bringing my kids over here.
I'm airdropping that photo. I have some flyers.
Yeah, that was a great point. If there's anyone who's like skeptical about the event or the children's march, bringing their kids, let them know that we have it divided up where we're gonna have breakout groups for the kids, littles, middles, and bigs. From that's Sunday, and it's preschoolers all the way up to high schoolers are welcome. We will have age-appropriate discussions for them. Parents will be able to participate as well. And for those who are worried about COVID, we have that covered, and you can participate in your cars. There will be YouTube live streams. So, and there's a Facebook event for this. So, find it online.
So come up to us, look around for it. Everybody, do not leave yet. Everybody, do not leave yet. Listen, the one thing that's really important is that after every one of these protests that we do, you do not walk to your car alone. Do not walk to your car or your house or wherever alone. Make sure you walk in 2s and 3s. 4 eyes are better than your own. 6 eyes are even better than that. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Make sure you walk with somebody. I'm a grown-ass man, but I still will let somebody walk my butt to my car. No issue, okay? Everybody put your hands together for our director. Thank you again for coming. Make sure you don't leave by yourself, like you said. We'll let you know when the next one is. Have a good night.
All right, guys, I'm gonna monitor the chat and find a spot to answer Andy's question and some others and address a couple things we saw today and a couple things alluded to.
If anyone would like to take a picture for Tiana, we're just going to head over to the basketball court.
Oh, he's saying if anyone wants to take a picture for Tiana, head over to the basketball court.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. It's raining a little bit.
I'd say it's misting, not even really drizzling, but there's some mist here. Maybe coming in from the ocean, Pacific Ocean's that way. About a 10 or 15 minute drive.
They're all going to take a picture now for social media for Tiana.
For Tiana Arata. So for those of you who weren't tuned in at the various points in the broadcast, during which Andy, the stream's not over yet, and I'm answering your question. As someone says, Annabelle, what large eyes you have. I don't know if that's... Is the picture all right? I hope the picture didn't just go out. Okay, so thank you, Dacine. As people take a photo for Tiana Arata, again, Tiana Arata is one of the protest leaders here in San Luis Obispo, or was, maybe I should say, was one of the protest leaders. And as I've been mentioning throughout this broadcast and my prior broadcast here, last month, Tiana Arata led a protest that went onto Highway 101 here in San Luis Obispo. And during that time that the protesters were on the freeway, there was an incident involving a car. Well, there were incidents involving multiple cars, but there was one incident in which a couple car windows were smashed and glass hit a 4-year-old child in the back seat, at least according to both the California Highway Patrol and San Luis Obispo Police Department. And after the conclusion of that protest, the San Luis Obispo Police, as the protesters have been talking about throughout tonight, arrested Ms. Arata, and likewise, as you can see in some video circulating on social media, there was a physical altercation between someone defending Arata as she was being arrested and a cop, and it looks like an officer shoves the person, and then I don't know what led up to that, but in the video you can see that other person kicking the officer basically in the groin, and after that he was arrested. So there were 2 arrests at the conclusion of that protest, and the CHP have been seeking the arrest of another person who they say was involved in the smashing of car windows. And throughout this broadcast, you have heard the protesters demanding that the charges against Arata be dropped. And I've heard multiple times protesters saying that the police targeted Arata for being a protest leader and being a black woman with a powerful voice. So that should catch you up on. And then right now they're taking a photo for Tiana Arata. At least that's what they said they're doing. I don't know where Annabelle just went. It's gonna bring her over, but she's probably videotaping or photographing this photo right now. I'm gonna address the... Oh, there she is. I'm gonna address momentarily what I was alluding to with the downtown businesses, but let's watch this wrap up right now. It looks like there might be yet another speech. I thought it was over, but I guess it's not. Here on this basketball court, you can see there's Black Lives Matter written in chalk, and they're also standing on top of a Black Lives Matter style fist in the middle of the court, while many of them hold up fists. It looks like there's a voter registration booth right over here. Oh, they're gonna chant "Drop the charges." Drop the charges! I think that now marks the end of today's protest. You probably heard the part with the airdrops. There's obviously a lot of animosity coming from the protesters toward the California Highway Patrol, which along with the San Luis Obispo Police Department has been involved. What's going on in Calabasas? Along with the San Luis Obispo Police Department, the California Highway Patrol has been involved in the investigation of the few protesters, possibly more, don't know, who were allegedly involved in the smashing of car windows, or maybe just a couple of them. You want to pop on? You can come around this way. Before I talk about downtown businesses, any thoughts on what you saw today? This was your first protest in San Luis Obispo.
Yes.
First Black Lives Matter protest in a small town, I believe, yeah?
It's very slow, I would say. I mean, it's nothing.
Is that a pun? A play on words?
I don't know. When you compare it to Portland or Seattle, it's very slow and slow. Yeah, the only girls who were bothering me were the girls with the pink vests who constantly told me that I should wear masks for whatever reasons, and they were surrounding me. One of them wanted to hit me with a sign and didn't want... Yes.
And
they didn't want to let me go through.
Explain what happened.
I didn't want to wear a mask.
But you're saying a protester wearing a vest wanted to hit you?
No,
with the
not
sign?
the one with the vest. The one with the vest came up to me and followed me and told me constantly I have to wear a mask. If not, I'm not supportive of the movement. And then all those protesters were circling around me, and one of them wanted to hit me with the sign, and they put signs all around me, so I'm not able to walk, and I just recorded them.
So protesters surrounded you and held up their signs?
Yes, so I can't see anything.
Couldn't see, or did they trap you in?
They trapped me in both.
I'm sorry, I wasn't there to record that.
Well, I recorded it.
Okay, I mean, that much is good. I didn't see you for a while.
Obviously not when they put these huge signs all over me, so nobody's able to see me.
Yeah, there.
And then, I was wondered that there are a lot of businesses which are open, and people are having dinner there, and then, the protesters just screaming all over the street. And then as we walked to this park here, there was one of the people who lives here. He did not like it at all. He wanted that they explain to him why they are protesting, and yeah.
Oh, that might have been the man who was asking me what I was up to. Oh, so what did he say?
Yeah, he said that he is annoyed by it, and that, you know, then the girls with the yellow vests came over there and wanted to talk. There were two guys and the guy what Josh talked to, and then he was surrounded by girls with the pink vests, and the guy didn't say it. He asked for his privacy and why these girls are not going away, and yeah. Then the girls left and the man continued his conversation.
Maybe I should have done a brief interview with him. I wasn't sure what was going on. It seemed like he didn't want to go on camera, but I wasn't sure. There are lots of people who walk around here following me with cameras of their own.
A lot,
so sometimes I just try to diffuse the situation. Although here, I don't think this is CHOP, so they don't have the right to tell me I can't film in public. Or I mean, they can tell me that, but I have the right to film in public, so I don't cower to that like it's CHOP.
So many BLM protests, and I've never seen so many girls asking me to wear a mask. And they were marching so fast, and yeah, sorry, I can't wear a mask. And I'm not sure if this here is a protest for masks.
Well, no, I mean, the protest today was very much focused on the arrest of Tiana Rada and protesters demanding that charges be dropped, which that wasn't hashed out so clearly. As far as I'm aware, the DA still hasn't filed charges in that case, but the police did arrest her. Arrested her on 5 charges.
Oh yeah, so the guys who talked to the man who was not happy with the protesters, he asked them, yeah, why are you protesting? And then the guy said for Breonna Taylor, but apparently it's not for Breonna Taylor, it's more for Tiana.
Well, I mean, individual protesters can have different motives. I'm just saying the protest today focused in large part on Tiana. Unlike the one that I covered here, is it last week? I can't even remember. Or 2 weeks ago, right after Tiana Rada's arrest. Regarding businesses, so I did mention early in the broadcast, and I showed you that there were protesters gathering outside downtown San Luis Obispo businesses, particularly restaurants, and at one point Giuseppe's restaurant, which the protesters were targeting, at least with their rhetoric and loudspeaker and chants last week. As I mentioned earlier, the Giuseppe's Italian restaurant here in downtown San Luis Obispo gave a donation to San Luis Obispo County Sheriff Ian Parkinson in his last election campaign. And Parkinson's been critical of the protesters, and the protesters don't like that whatsoever, and they've been protesting Parkinson and Giuseppe's. Now, there have been business owners in the downtown area who've been coming forward, mostly through back channels thus far, but I think it's become public. There have been business owners coming forward alleging that they've been harassed by protesters and that protesters have demanded money from them. I'm pausing as someone's back on the megaphone. So we have in the lead up. We've had in the lead up to today multiple multiple businesses in the downtown San Luis Obispo area through back channels, at least thus far, alleging that protesters have come to their businesses and demanded money. And today, during the protest, what did we see? At one point, we saw a lady placing signs on business windows trying to hand it to another restaurant
So, and what I was really surprised about that, one girl here who did a speech, she went up and said, don't go to any restaurants or shops or stores which are not supportive of Black Lives Matter. And she told them not to go to the stores who don't have Black Lives Matter signs up anymore.
Yes, I don't remember if she said exactly don't go to the stores who don't have Black Lives Matter signs, but said don't go to the stores or businesses or restaurants that don't support Black Lives Matter. And from my recollection, that was the same woman who was placing those signs on business windows or handing them to businesses during the protest today. And I think at one point during her speech right out here in the middle of the park, I think at one point she said that something along the lines of these businesses that don't support Black Lives Matter need to be shut down. I don't know if she used those words
She
exactly,
said, don't
but
support businesses, stores, don't go to restaurants which are not supportive of Black Lives Matter. And she said something that she already talked to a lot of stores and want to give them signs what they should put up. And yeah, so she is really asking other people not to go to the stores, don't support Black Lives Matter.
so right now there's brewing tension between protesters here in San Luis Obispo and quite a few downtown businesses. And I think this is something that's going to be coming out in media very shortly, and I think there's going to be reporting on it on the publication that I work for, which is Cal Coast News, calcoastnews.com. You can go to calcoastnews.com for protest coverage of the protests here in San Luis Obispo. I'm aware of the Louisville blackmail, or at least what's been reported about the Louisville blackmail or attempted extortion. I don't know what happened in Louisville exactly, but I would call it attempted extortion, but based on the news reports that I was reading, it seems like there are businesses, one vocal restaurant in Louisville, alleging that protesters have been attempting to extort them. And I don't know if it's gone quite that far here. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Someone asked when we joined the BLM tribal dancing.
If anybody asks, it smells really good in San Luis Obispo. This little restaurants have really good food here.
Let's get your take on Slow momentarily. So again, I would expect there to be coverage on this on Coast News, calcoastnews.com. There are quite a few business owners through back channels who are expressing a lot of frustration, and I believe there's one business that's already made a large contribution to the protesters, and the protesters, I think, have been gathering outside that business possibly prior to that contribution. So there are allegations of something along the lines of extortion here in SLO, and I'd expect there to be reporting on that in the coming days. Someone mentioned I have a fro. Yeah, it's getting there. But I don't know what exactly is going to come out in here in SLO. Just stay tuned on that note. We did not see any extortion during the broadcast today, although we did see one woman placing one of those signs or posters on one storefront.
It was a poster, but it looked
faded
out.
It looked like a George Floyd's picture on there and a lot of other.
But it was gray beige. It was not a clear picture.
Yeah, it's sort of faded, and then a lot of other names on it. And I there may be allegations, I'm not positive, but there may be allegations that there are protesters demanding that downtown businesses place their posters or signs on the windows. On demands, I'm not sure. That might have been coming out of Louisville. But there's similar allegations here in Louisville, and as I keep saying, just stay tuned to Cal Coast News. I don't think I'm going to be doing a live stream here again this week. No, we're not in Pismo Beach, but we are very close to Pismo Beach. We're a 10-minute drive away from Pismo Beach. Someone says we love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I was really surprised with this girl calling out, calling on everybody not to support businesses. I mean, all the businesses are already affected by this COVID pandemic. So now she wants to make it even more difficult for them. I think that's not really fair. I think, you know, the businesses can put in the storefronts whatever they want.
So, oh, that's Psycho Drew. Hey, Psycho.
Oh, Psycho Drew, how are you doing?
What did he write?
We want to go with you to, oh no. Oh,
Psycho Drew's the...
he made an interview with me in Chop.
Oh.
Yes.
Psycho Drew, aren't you in LA? Aren't you the skateboarder extraordinaire?
No, isn't Psycho Drew the guy from Chop where we made an interview and it's on my Instagram? My Instagram, by the way, is Romika Annabelle, Romika A-N-N-A, no, dot, there's a dot in the middle, A-N-N-A-B-E-L-L. That's my Instagram, and there's one interview in the story.
Yeah, you're mixing them up.
It's not the same
Psycho
guy.
Drew is the star skateboard live stream. I mean, what Psycho Drew was doing was amazing. Skateboarding through the streets of Hollywood, weaving in and out of the protest line as they're rounding up people.
Then it's another Psycho.
Yeah, as the police were rounding up people for curfew violations back when there were big protests. Yeah, Psycho Drew. Yeah, check out Psycho Drew's channel. He had some I saw it in person. He had some really impressive protest coverage, some stuff that I cannot do whatsoever. I can't write a sword worth a darn. Yeah, I remember you almost got arrested. That was pretty daring when they were rounding up protesters for curfew violations, the LAPD that is. And Psycho Drew was weaving in and out of the police and protest lines live streaming.
So here in this park are not a lot of people left, and here are no tents like in Chop or like in Los Angeles, no garden area.
Okay, talk to wrap up the broadcast, talk a little bit about your impressions of San Luis Obispo, not just
So
a
it's
protest.
a small town, it looks really peaceful, there are a lot of small little restaurants and boutique style stores. Yeah, and the people are sitting on the street because of COVID, I think, and they eat there, and then the protesters marching through the streets, and the people are sometimes upset that, you know, they can't enjoy their dinner because they're surrounded by this loud protest.
It was hard for me to tell today, maybe you got an impression as well. You guys saw there were a bunch of people eating dinner and drinking drinks on the street as Annabelle was describing, and the protesters are marching right by her, or sometimes giving speeches and being quite loud right next to them. But I couldn't really get so good of a gauge as to
a few of them were supportive and they applauded, and some of them they were absolutely annoyed and, you know, didn't even look at the protesters and just ignored them.
So according to Annabelle's mixed bag, my hunch would be it was a mixed bag, but I saw several people filming the protesters as they were going by, but it was hard for me to tell whether they were agitated or supportive.
Some are, some are not. A lot are not, and a lot of people don't know what I met here on the street, don't know why they are protesting.
Is the gal who wants businesses to support BLM with the signs a local? I don't know.
I don't know.
There are a lot of very familiar faces here, including some of the people who were marching and even dancing alongside Tiana Arata during the protest in which protesters went onto the freeway and ultimately Tiana Arata was arrested. So I recognize some because Tiana Arata actually live streamed a large chunk of that protest, the one after which he was arrested. And I recognized some familiar faces from that live stream as well as some familiar faces from my prior coverage here in SLO. This was my third live stream of San Luis Obispo Black Lives Matter protests, so I had done 2 prior to this one. Let's see what Psycho Drew's saying. Can you take down that number?
Yes.
Yeah, Psycho Drew, one chant for the road. Psycho Drew, I'll be back in town shortly, so we'll get in contact with you. I don't even remember what day is today. Is today Wednesday?
Yes, 5th August 5th.
Yeah, I might be in town this weekend. I might not.
And they're having a special kids march here. And I think that's where the flyers.
Yeah, that's on Sunday. There's a chance that we're gonna go cover something out of state, but I'd say right now it's not very likely. So we're probably not going to, and I'm not going to preview it because I don't think it's going to happen. But there's a slight chance we're going out of state this weekend, but we could be very well be back in LA. Yeah, I'm shooing away a mosquito. So again, for future plans, I saw someone asking, it's just really an open book. I was supposed to go to Vienna next week, but the EU doesn't let Americans in, at least not unless they've got some special permission. So I don't think I'm going to Vienna next week. And just see what psychojuice is. You don't need. So I don't think I'm going to Vienna next week. Maybe I start going back to traveling internationally very soon. Maybe not. I'm actually kind of keen on the idea of continuing the protest coverage here in the US, but we'll see. We'll see where life and news and political events take us. There was someone else asking me, it might have been off camera, I'm going to go to the protest in DC. I'm not planning on it. Probably not.
I think it's on the 28th.
I think so too. I think it's the day of the Republican National Convention, I believe. I'm not planning on it, but I don't know if there was high demand for me to go to it. I guess I'd consider doing so. But things are really up in the air in terms of travel and in terms of coverage. Proud American, thank you very much. My PayPal address or URL is paypal.me/nomadjournalist. paypal.me/nomadjournalist. And you can find that link on the about page of my YouTube channel, and after this video processes, I'll put it in the description of this video as well. And I really appreciate anyone who chips in to help out our protest coverage and to financially help out our protest coverage. It's not cheap to go around the world and cover demonstrations all over the place and sometimes flying around on a moment's notice. I'm considering going back to Portland. Don't know if I will. I'm considering it. It always seems to be a hot zone. We've already been twice, and the last time we were there, we got 3 nights of action involving the feds. So we've seen quite a bit of action in Portland.
And I got shot.
And you and I, yeah, we were both.
Oh, yeah, you too.
We were both shot by the feds, but I think they were just what do you call those things? Pepper balls, and it wasn't such a big deal, in my opinion. But
my legs were full of bruises.
That's true. You got bruised up a bit.
Your phone was only shot out of your hand.
And my phone was. We should isolate that clip and make it a video. Jennifer Michelle asking how many good journalists are out there. Very few. Well, if you're complimenting us, then thank you very much.
There's no other journalists. I haven't seen anyone.
Yeah, Psycho Drew, the feds did shoot my phone right out of my hand as I was live streaming in Portland.
Yes.
But it's all
happens.
What's done is done. It's just something to joke about now. Seattle also, I was a little bummed that we didn't go back there on the day that there was a major protest and the police declared it a riot recently. There's been a lot of action in Seattle. I wouldn't mind going back. I don't know if we will. Seen someone saying Beirut. Thank you very much, Jennifer Michelle. I've been wanting to go to Lebanon for years. Almost went last year. Didn't end up going. I've still never been to Lebanon, even though I've seen Lebanon. I've been standing about 100 feet away from Lebanon. I've never been to Lebanon, but I'm very sorry to hear what happened this week.
in Beirut. And that's just a troubling situation that I don't know what happened. I don't have an explanation for it.
It's going to be dark in the next 15 minutes.
And we just hit the 2-hour mark on this. I think it's time to wrap it up. Last comment.
San Luis Obispo is a really small, peaceful town, and now it's been shaken up.
Interesting way to characterize it. I was reading some comment about Beirut. Yeah, small town, but sometimes some very large demonstrations here, and interesting things happening with the demonstrations. And I encourage you to visit calpostnews.com for written and more in-depth coverage of the protests here and some of the issues that are arising surrounding the protests. So from California's Central Coast and San Luis Obispo, thank you very much for tuning in this evening. Goodbye for now, and see you sometime soon, most likely live and on the ground at an unknown location. Goodbye.
Tschüss.
Goodbye for now. See you soon.